Barnaby's Big Boat Project. Thomas lived on a cozy houseboat with his best friend Barnaby. Barnaby was no ordinary dog. He was a massive and incredibly stubborn Great Dane. Thomas loved the peace of the water, but boat life required constant maintenance. That morning, Thomas decided it was time for a new DIY project. He wanted to build a new wooden bench on the deck so they could enjoy the sunsets together. Thomas put on his old work jeans and prepared his tools. Before he started cutting the wood, he realized he was well prepared for the task. He had visited the local lumberyard the day before to select the sturdiest planks. He knew the project would be challenging, but he looked forward to the result. As soon as Thomas began to work, the boat suddenly gave a dangerous tilt. Barnaby had decided to move from the starboard side to the port side to chase a passing duck. Thomas had to grab the railing to keep from falling. Barnaby just looked at him innocently, as if nothing had happened. Thomas sighed. Working on the water was always about balance. "Barnaby, you must stay in the middle," Thomas shouted. However, the dog was very stubborn. Even though he weighed almost as much as an adult man, he acted like a tiny puppy. Thomas knew that the weight of his dog was crucial for the boat's stability. He had hoped for a calm afternoon, but now he needed a plan to keep the boat level while he nailed the planks together. Before Thomas began building, he had measured everything carefully. He had taken into account the boat's length and the material's weight. He even remembered a recent vet visit where they had checked Barnaby's health, including a minor issue with a retained testicle, which was just a quirk of the dog's genes. However, he had forgotten one thing. As a Great Dane, Barnaby's presence on the deck meant the total load could easily exceed the safety limit. To balance the boat, Thomas had to march from one side to the other whenever Barnaby moved. Every time the dog crossed to the port side, Thomas had to quickly carry his heavy tools to the opposite side. He had felt very tired after all this constant activity, but the bench was finally starting to take shape. After several hours, Thomas was completely exhausted. The sun was already high in the sky, and the bench was almost finished. He had spent the whole afternoon measuring and hammering. It was a beautiful, sturdy piece of furniture that was meant to last for years. Thomas was proud of his work. He put down the saw and wiped the sweat from his forehead. Suddenly, there was a loud crash. Before Thomas had managed to secure it properly, Barnaby decided to test the new seat. The dog jumped onto it with such enthusiasm that the structure couldn't take it. The wood splintered, and several pieces had fallen to the floor before Thomas could react. Barnaby just whimpered sadly, looking at the ruins of his future resting spot. Thomas sat on the floor and began to laugh. He realized that he had woken up that morning with a plan that was far too ambitious. The day had not turned out exactly as he had envisioned. Even though the project was ruined, he was glad he had spent the day outside with his dog. Barnaby walked over to him and rested his large head on Thomas's shoulder. The sun began to set, and Thomas admitted that they were done for the day. All the tools had gone back into the storage lockers below. Thomas decided that he would start again tomorrow, but this time he would build a bench specifically for Barnaby, much wider and stronger. Together they watched the river's surface shimmer in the last rays of light.